All right, so I'm Chris Johnson, the Communications Director with the Fuller Center for Housing, and I'm here with Ryan Iagifliola, our Director of International Field Operations, who recently had a little trip, a place you've been to before, El Salvador. Tell me, how did it go?
Yeah, it was great to get back down there again. We've had so much work happening down there. It's hard to keep up, even though I'm in frequent communication with people down there. Sometimes you just have to get on the ground and see it, and it was so rewarding to see the change in the lives of the families we've been working with.
And you were down there when we first started partnering with New Story, and we first started working in this community, this Nuevo Cuscatlan. What was it like before we built the first house?
Yeah, so these families were living on the side of a muddy hill. They didn't own the land. They were actually facing eviction. There was also all kinds of issues there with potential landslides, dirty water, no latrine, no decent latrines of any sort. It was sad living conditions. You hate to see people having to live like that. And where they're at now this is a site we built 3 years ago, but we've continued to stay involved with the families, continue to make some community improvements. For example, the roads were just recently, I wouldn't say paved, but they were able to keep the dust and the mud down by putting a little bit of concrete there, which the families did themselves over the last few years. So that's all done, and it's really made it clean and beautiful. The families have flush toilets and running water and a place to shower in the home, and dry roof, solid walls, good floor. And it's a community. People they're selling things out their front door. They're happy to be with each other. We would ask them, what's it like here? Is it noisy at night? Just trying to find out if there are any issues. And people would say, no, it's very tranquilo, it's very peaceful and nice.
So it's going great there, and about a year after we started there, we started in another site, Iagifliola. Did you get to see that?
Yeah, because of the tremendous level of support and grant funding we were able to have with our partnership with New Story Charity, we were able to quickly move on to another site after completing the 91 homes we were able to build in that location. And that was in Iagifliola, and we built duplex houses there, and those are looking very nice as well. Most of the families have all moved into that area. They have street lights and power and water, so that was looking great. We also done a second site in Iagifliola that is nearing completion. While I was there, you can see the roads were all torn up. The city was bringing in the piping for the water, and the utilities we think won't be far behind. So that'll be another 55 families that will be moving into our second location in Iagifliola.
And then there was another site I don't know much about.
Yeah, now you can see why it's hard to keep up with all this. We probably lost everyone by now. But yeah, then another site, we've been working in more of a rural area outside of San Salvador, not too far from the city, but it's a rural community. It's a co-op of right now 30 families. They're planning to bring in another 30 families into their cooperative. And they're very motivated. They they first moved to the area because of a church. And they did a lot of work to clear the land and to get it ready, and kind of their agreement to be part of the cooperative is you have to be willing to work really hard to improve your lives in that area, and these families have done that. So
they're already perfect candidates.
They are, yeah, they really are. And as a group, they're actually responsible for the repayment. So each family, of course, makes their own repayment, but they actually kind of self-enforce on each other too, to make sure that everyone is paying, and if one family doesn't, the others have to pitch in. So it's a great way for them to do this kind of cooperatively as a co-op, and they're going to add more families. They're going to be building for them.
So this wild growth we're experiencing, which is fantastic, what in the world is behind that and driving that? And is there anything we can apply to other situations or other locations?
Yeah, good question.
What's our takeaway here?
Well, there's I think a couple things. One is you need great leadership, and this project has great leadership. We're really excited working with Lisa Lott and our partners there in El Salvador. They've been tremendous to work with, and we do have other projects with great leadership. So that alone, it's necessary, but it's not sufficient.
One element.
One element, and then clearly the funding element has played a huge role. And I guess that just goes to show that the more funds we have available, really the more we can scale up our work and make an impact in all these places where we're working.